Hello, and thank you for selecting our Flash Talk. My name is Paul Jerker, and I'm a grad student in the University of Chicago Science Policy Group. I'm happy to tell you about one of our biggest civic engagement projects of the last year and the collaborations that we created to make it happen. In October 2019, we were awarded a microgrant by Research America to organize a public-facing panel on the science and policy of water in the city of Chicago. To plan a great event, we collaborated with student groups at Northwestern University and University of Illinois Chicago. We were also aided by Illinois Science Council, a science outreach nonprofit. These collaborations definitely improved our event, but also brought some new logistic challenges. I'd like to share lessons that we learned from our planning process to help other groups create their own successful collaborative events and to get the most out of that collaboration. Let me put the event in context first. We proposed an event based around water because water is absolutely essential to so many facets of Chicago life, not just drinking water and sanitation, but recreation, the environment, agriculture, and industry. Despite this, it's easy to take the abundant Lake Michigan for granted, since most water treatment and policy happens behind the scenes. We aim to bring together panelists from many of these different sectors to reveal some of that complexity to our attendees and give our water experts a chance to hear from the public in turn. As we planned the event, the foremost consideration was creating an event inclusive of everyone in the city, and this started with the location. Chicago is still heavily segregated, where the west and south side neighborhood residents are primarily Black and Hispanic, while the north side and the suburbs are predominantly white. In addition, we were aware of the troubled relationship between local universities and their surrounding communities, especially for the University of Chicago. Furthermore, we wanted to make the event accessible to residents without cars. These considerations led us to pick a pub just west of the downtown area, within easy reach of public transit. We hoped this casual, central location would encourage people from all over the city to attend. I mentioned that we got a lot of help from other science policy and education organizations to put on this panel. Event collaborators often bring a range of benefits. An obvious one is that with more people involved, organizers can handle larger, more complicated events. In addition, it's especially valuable to have experienced collaborators when tackling a new project. In our case, UCSPG had never planned such a large public event before, so Illinois Science Council's expertise was critical. ISC was able to tell us which of our goals were reasonable, how to advertise effectively, and give some insight into how our choices might play out in the actual event. Our top recommendation to other groups looking to host similar events for the first time is to seek a collaborator which has experience in events like this. When you're learning a personal skill, it's usually wise to find a mentor, and the same is true at the organizational level. Organizations can also develop skills and will likewise benefit from organizational guidance. Collaborating groups can also help make an event more inclusive, especially for panels, workshops, or conferences which need to identify subject matter experts. No single person or group can expect to have knowledge of all the experts working in a field, so connecting through the networks of your partners allows you to cast a wider net and reach candidates which you may have otherwise never known about or been unable to reach. For the Chicago Water Forum, each of our collaborators helped out by securing a panelist, and their extended networks were integral in helping us to find representatives from all the areas of elected office, academia, and nonprofits. In this respect, your choice of collaborators is important. Ideally, your partners complement instead of overlapping your mission and audience. Naturally, adding collaborators is not without its unique challenges. As you incorporate multiple partners into event planning, it's easy to create confusion over how decisions will be made and who has ultimate responsibility. To avoid miscommunications and crunch time leading up to deadlines, it's best to establish clear roles right from the outset. In addition to asking for help hosting an event, specify where you need the help and which responsibilities you'd like to hand over. Scheduling is another challenge arising when several collaborators are involved. This makes it particularly important to start planning early, which leaves room to accommodate changes in plans. Another approach is to coordinate with only a single lead contact from each collaborator. There may be many more contributing, but working through a single representative is usually simpler and easier to schedule. So, how did our event turn out? We felt it was a great success. Despite it being February in Chicago, we had over 60 attendees hailing from all over the city. All our panelists were excellent speakers, and we had a lively discussion after the panel, including some insightful comments from one of the local plumbers. Of course, we're also noting what we'd like to do differently in future events. With some firsthand public event experience now, and hopefully with a longer event planning timeline, we'll look to focus the event on an issue which particularly affects the underserved communities near our university. This will entail working with local community partners right from the start on everything from choosing a topic to advertising to finding the best location for the event. If there's one lesson we'd like to share from our experience, it's that when planning bigger events, Finding the right partner organizations can make the event more polished, more successful, and more inclusive. Thank you for your attention.